In its dynamics can be the difference between swimming with the tide or struggling against it. Analyzing government policies and how they shape the economy is what we do every work day. From the financial sector, maritime, the SMEs, telecom to aviation, we engage policymakers and operators in the economy. Watch Business Morning live, Mondays to Fridays, only on Channels Television.
And on the foreign scene, the South Korean ferry disaster may have claimed its first high-profile political victim. That's the Prime Minister Chung Hong-won. Mr. Chung stepped down amidst criticism of the government's handling of the passenger ferry's sinking, but he will remain at his post until the disaster is brought under control. The Shawar ferry, with 476 people on board, most of them students and teachers, sank off South Korea on April the 16th. In a televised statement, Mr. Chung said cries of the families of those missing still keep him up at night, and he believes the right thing for him to do is to take responsibility and resign as a person who is in charge of the cabinet. President Park Ji-hye accepted her Prime Minister's resignation but did not set a last day for him to stay in office. And huge crowds have assembled at the Vatican City to witness a historic ceremony where two popes, that's John Paul II and John the 23rd, are declared saints. A mass co-celebrated by Pope Francis and his predecessor, Benedict, was watched by about 1 million pilgrims and a vast television and radio audience. Nearly 100 foreign delegates are attending, including royal dignitaries, heads of states and government. It is the first time two popes have been canonized at the same time. Observers say the move is being seen as an attempt to unite conservative and reformist camp within the Roman Catholic Church. And on sports news, the main organizing committee of the Channels National Kids Cup have called for submission of forms for the Lagos preliminaries. The request is to aid the compilation of teams for the qualifying rounds. The Lagos preliminaries, which will be on knockout stages, is scheduled to take off on May the 13th till the 15th at the Campus Square and Oniko Stadium in Lagos. The final 4 teams from the qualifiers will represent Lagos State to compete with 12 teams selected from different parts of the country. This is the 6th edition of the Channels Kids Cup and the 2nd of the national series. For the second consecutive season, Nigeria will not be represented in the group phase of Africa's club competition as Bayelsa United has crashed out of the CAF Confederation Cup. Christian Kwame scored the only goal in the 82nd minute to hand Sewe Sport of Cote d'Ivoire a 1-0 win in the second leg played yesterday at the Saple Stadium in Delta State. The victory also ensured the Ivorians progress 3-0 on goal aggregate at the expense of Bayelsa United. Kano Pillars and Eyimba have earlier been knocked out of the CAF Champions League, while Warri Wolves were bundled out in the first round of the CAF Confederation Cup. But that's about wraps it up on News Track. Many thanks for watching. I'm Melinda Akinami.
Every year, the Channels National Kids Cup is getting bigger and even better. It's season 6 of the football competition, and this edition, in partnership with Eco Football, will showcase grassroots talents. 4 primary schools from Lagos State will go against opponents from 12 different states of the Federation to determine who will become the champion. Come and witness their actions and thrills as these kids show their love and passion for the beautiful game. For more information, visit channelstv.com. Channels National Kids Cup. We catching them young. Every day you invite us to your home. Now we invite you to our homepage. Join Channels TV on social media. Hang out with us on Google Plus/Channels Television. Follow us on Twitter.com/Channels TV_NG. Friend us on Facebook.com/Channels Forum. And don't forget to like our page. That's not all. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, youtube.com/Channels Web, to get constant video updates and news and events in Nigeria and around the world. ChannelsTV.com, the news at your fingertips.
You're welcome to the Gavel. I'm Linda Akibe. These are indeed tough times for Nigerians. We had barely wrapped our heads around last Monday's bomb blast at a motor park in Nyanya, Abuja, when news filtered of the abduction of more than 200 young girls in Chibok, Borno State. The abduction of such high number of young girls in a state under emergency rule is baffling. And what is worse, days after the abduction, these girls seem to have vanished into thin air. Well, two federal lawmakers from Borno State have spoken out on the issue.
More than a week after some girls were abducted by insurgents from a school in Chibok, Borno State, the figures of the exact number abducted, as well as those who have returned, are yet shrouded in controversy. The initial figure of 129 was increased to 234 when the governor of the state, Kasim Shettima, was said to have visited the school and spoken with the authorities and parents of the abducted girls.
The 129 that were missing, said to be missing from the school as at the time of the incident. The correct thing is that many of them were able to escape almost as soon as they were taken out of the compound.
The military had announced that all but 8 of the abducted girls had been rescued, a submission they later withdrew after being counted by the school authorities and parents. And up till now, the number of those who escaped and returned safely depends on whom you speak to. 39, 43, maybe more than 50. Mothers have cried and begged for the release of their girls, and the search continues, although the military is said to be waiting for specific instructions to do the needful.
They are what we depend on as mothers. When all of us are gone, we expect that we leave these children behind.
This situation, almost 2 weeks after, has caused lawmakers from Borno to raise their voices in a call for intensified security around the schools in the northern region, with adequate mobilization and motivation of the soldiers, and perhaps a relocation of the students in the affected areas.
You cannot deny them their education, and at the same time their safety is very, very important. So what the government should have taken measure, because the recent happening in one of the local government